Hey everyone, welcome to I Just Watched. We're here to talk WandaVision's episode 1 and 2, the premiere of the show, and more so, the first of many Marvel shows that we're going to see on Disney Plus in the near future, connecting and expanding on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's off to an interesting start to say the least, but before we jump into it, I gotta hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you like this video enough to hit that like button, click the subscribe and the little bell to stay tuned for more of our stuff and get notified when everything drops. But with that being said, let's get into it. Let's talk WandaVision episodes 1 and 2. So right off the bat, I love the aesthetic of the show. I can tell you that, like how it starts with like the 4:3 ratio on the first 2 episodes, and you get that 50s feel from the first one, 50s, 60s, black and white, and then in the second episode it's like 70s black and white. And I mean, I can go and talk about like how they're, paying homage to the shows that inspires these, like, sitcoms, and the style of them, from literally the design of the house from episode 1 to the change of the design in episode 2 to the intro in episode 1 to the change to the animated intro in episode 2 to how we get color at the end of episode 2 and stuff like that, and the Genie vibes, the Dick Van Dyke vibes. Like, that's awesome. I think that's cool that we're getting to see that. I'm excited to see that more with other shows and see what shows they also pick and choose from for other episodes. But that being said, I am more interested in what we're not seeing. The little things that we're getting glimpses of, and glimpses of, like, through her and like the world around her and what is known as Westview. Just heads up, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen them, check them out. It's on Disney Plus. I mean, come on. But that being said, let's talk about it. And I'm gonna jump straight to it. I think that after everything she's been through, from Age of Ultron to now, just devastation, loss, even before then, you know what I mean? Looking at the Stark bomb never blowing up, being tortured by Strucker, which there's a reason to bring both of those up, and getting the powers, and then being, evil, and then turning good, and then having this whole dilemma, and then her brother dying, and then falling in love, and then he dying twice, she killing him, and then watching him come back and die again. It's interesting to see that, but I mean, I genuinely think that this is something that she's doing to overcome her grief. It's something I think it's something she put herself in, but more so I think someone being like the antagonist, the villain or whatever, found her in this self-induced, blissful, ignorant state and almost added to it to keep her locked because of how powerful she is, to almost like, put a lid on the jar that she created, in a sense. And I say that because when you see at the very end of the first episode, when you zoom out, you see the sword symbol on the booklet, you see it on the TV. Obviously in episode 2, the beekeeper dude coming out of the the sewer, the manhole, with the sword logo on the back, the sword logo on the little red helicopter, and everything's black and white and the helicopter's red, and you know what I mean? Like a Sin City vibe though, when like the Dottie cut her hand with the glass and it was like blood, and I was like, ooh, they're like some Sin City vibes. But that being said, we knew that sword existed because at the very end of Spider-Man, Nick Fury's there with all the Skrulls or whatever, and we know, like, he's in space, so we know that's sword, because SHIELD don't do that. SHIELD is Earth. Earth is what they take care of. SHIELD is everything else. I think sword is trying to pull her out. That's why you get those moments of like Wanda, and then like, like, who's doing this to you? Who's doing this to you? In a sense, like, she's doing it to herself, but someone else is like just compiling onto it to almost like keep her there. And also using that, because like the dinner party in the first episode, he's there like, why? Where are you from? What, like, these? He's not asking those questions just like the asshole he's portraying. It's more like, I'm like, answer this. Like, I'm asking you these questions. If you can answer this, why? Like, wake up type thing. Like, wake up. Why can't you do this? And then homegirl who's like, stop it, just stop it. Like, it's creepy in a sense, but it's like they're trying to fight their way in and like have her come to like a realization. Because at the end of the day, the only way for her to break out of this is for her to realize. That being said, it's super interesting to see who the villain will be. I've heard rumors of Nightmare, Mephisto. I think Mephisto would be amazing. Like, okay, her neighbor Agnes, someone said that I watched online, and I was kind of interesting that she might be was it Hawk, Agatha Hawk something. I know she's also a witch. That character's kind of been back and forth when it comes to being good, bad, wishy-washy. Maybe here she's kind of good, trying to help her out, or maybe she's portraying goodness in the sense like this is the world that you're comfortable in, stay here, but really bad as in trying to keep her there. But I wouldn't say she's like the main villain in this situation. But I mean, overall, it's interesting. There's enough. I personally think there's enough of like a tease to small things where I'm just like, like I definitely wish they dropped all the episodes so I could binge it, because it really, there's tiny things I'm like, I just want to binge this because it piqued my curiosity to the point where like I want to know, I need to know now type thing. I get why they're doing this. You want to let the the conversation happen. You want to talk about the shows, what you think is going on with Sword, who do you think the villain is, what's going on, like what's happening with Wanda, what's Vision is dead, like Vision's dead, right? And that's just a sad fact. How he can he come back? Yes, this is a comic book based universe. Of course he can come back, but he will like, is he back right now? No. This is like a weird House of M, self entrapped. I'm trying to be happy because I've suffered so much, so I'm in this safe place where his head is indestructible. Where she literally sees the dude out the manhole and goes no, and rewinds everything for it not to happen. Like little things like that. I'm like, she is fighting to stay in this blissful, ignorant world that she's created and is now like stuck in. Because even like some of the trailers or TV spots or whatever, you see a glimpse of her standing, and like it glimpses, and you just see like a sweater, like a hoodie, a zip up jacket, and you see like broken boards, like holes. I'm like, I think overall she's in a facility, but that house she's in is like this ugly, damaged house that she's just like probably like sitting or standing or just fucking like floating in existence because she's doing everything in her mind and whatnot. I think I'm excited to see like her kids, the twins, but I hope they almost keep it to the same fact where they're not real. And if I remember correctly in the comics, doesn't she use like Mephisto's energy or something to kind of create them, and then they die because he comes back or something? Like, I think including Mephisto would be awesome. It would be creepy, and you can just kind of go into like this weird satirical comedy sitcom slash kind of horror-esque thriller like sprinkled in. But no, I'm excited to see where this goes. What are your thoughts on the first 2 episodes? Are you excited where this can go? I actually liked it. I wasn't like, oh whoa, this is crazy. The biggest thing for me was when we first saw Sword, I was like, okay. I was like, okay, bet. So like a confirmation, they exist. Where are we going? And I like the Stark reference with the toaster. I think that's not necessarily Tony himself, but more like the bomb that never like should have blown up but didn't kill them. And then you get the Hydra Strucker Rolex looking at his watch, and that's a reference to the time they spent with him and how they suffered and stuff like that. Like it represents how long the time they were with him. The toaster, talking about like the 2 perfect twins or toast or not burning your toast, is the bomb didn't blow up, so they didn't burn. You know what I mean? So that's what, like, that toaster didn't burn the bread, and it was the 2 of them, her and her brother. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. What are your thoughts? Agree, disagree with either one of those? With the overall situation, let me know down below. What's your theory? What do you think they're gonna expand? Like, how do you think it expands? What do you think Sword's gonna do? What do you think? Is it something she put herself into, or is someone else just put her into it specifically? Or do you agree with my kind of little theory, which I'll dive into more with episode 3 next week? But no, let us know down below in the comment section. We love to hear from you. Comments, questions, concerns, comment section. I definitely want to hear from you. Hopefully you're doing well. But until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.